Hello everyone, welcome to Commerce Classes, and today we'll be working on managerial decision making based on optimal product mix. Like in the last video, we have completed calculation of optimal product mix and profit based on key factor, and I tried to include maximum possible key factors in the previous example. You can get the link from my playlist and you can see that for your further information. So taking that as a base, that is, we know how to calculate optimal product mix, then we'll work on the further managerial decision making. Now let us read the question first. So a firm can produce 3 different products from same raw material using same production facilities. So that is the basic assumption of optimal product mix based on key factor, that you have same factor being used. So this is what is given. Requisite labor is available aplenty at the rate of 8 rupees per hour. So labor rate is 8 rupees per hour and it is available freely. So there is no limit on that. Supply of raw material, however, which is imported at 8 rupees per kilogram is limited to 10,400 kilograms. It means that our key factor is raw material which is available only up to this limit. So this is going to be your key factor. For the budgeted period, variable overheads are 5.6 rupees per hour. So rate of variable overheads is based on per hour. So how many hours you use in the production, accordingly variable overheads will be calculated. Fixed cost is 50,000. Selling commission is 10% of sale. That means it is also based on sale. So it's a variable cost. Now further information is X, Y and Z have maximum demand of 8,000, 6,000, 4,000. Sale price is given this much. Labor hour required per unit is 1 hour, 2 hour, 1.5 hours. So this is labor hour. So if we are to calculate labor cost, it means if you use 1 labor hour, you get 1 unit of production. It is per unit. So at the rate of 8 rupees per hour, because your labor cost is 8 rupees per hour. So you need to spend 8 rupees on labor for X product. But for Y, you will have to spend how much? 16 rupees at the rate of 8. And herein you will have to spend 12 rupees, right? Then raw material use is also given per unit. That is, in order to produce 1 unit of X, this much raw material, 0.7 kilogram raw material is being used. So raw material cost is going to be, because raw material cost is 8 rupees per kilogram. So it is going to be 0.7 into 8, Y 0.4 into 8, and this is 1.5 into 8. So we'll have to calculate the cost, because we are not given the cost. We are given material utilization, we are given material cost per kilogram. Per unit is not given, so per unit calculation will be done. Now you are required to suggest most optimal sales mix to maximize profit. Calculate profit at that level. So we have to calculate sales mix and our key factor is raw material. So in order to make calculation of sales mix, we need to calculate contribution per unit of raw material, which implies that we need to calculate cost sheet and contribution, right? Okay, so we'll prepare a contribution based cost sheet. Since we have 3 product lines X, Y and Z, so we can make 3 plus 1 column, 1 for the details and 3 columns for the products. Furthermore, as we are not given the cost, we need to calculate it for material, labor, overhead, etc. So we can make inner column, outer column for each product line also. So let us fill the information first. Okay, this is the demand. Now we'll start with the selling price, which is given to us 30, 40 and 50. Now variable cost components. Variable cost includes direct material. Now direct material is 0.7 rupees 7 kg per unit at the rate of 8 rupees per kg. So inner column will include the calculation and in the outer column we will record the amount. Herein it is 0.4 at the rate of 8 rupees per kilogram, 3.2 and 1.5 at the rate of 8, 12. Then direct labor. Labor hours are 1 hour, 2 hours and 1.5 hours. Rate of labor is also 8 rupees per hour as given. So you will be having 8 rupees labor cost here, you will be having 16 rupees labor cost here, and here in labor cost is going to be 12 rupees. So this calculation I am saying you can make inner column for this, or you can make it in rough and you just write the amount here. Okay, now you have variable overheads. Variable overheads rate is 5.6 per hour and it utilizes 1 hour. Here in hours utilization is 2 and here in hours utilization is 1.5. So 8.4 here, 11.2 here and 5.6 here. Then you have selling commission also, which is 10% of selling price. So we can directly take 3, 4 and 5. So total variable cost is going to be 22.2 for X, 34.4 for Y and 37.4 for Z, which implies our contribution, which is selling price minus variable cost, is going to be 7.8, 5.6 and 12.6. Now in PV analysis or CVP analysis, we calculate PV ratio and we do the further work. We don't need to calculate that ratio right now because our key factor is not sales. Our key factor is raw material. So we have to calculate contribution per kilogram of raw material used. So our key factor is raw material. So we will analyze contribution on the basis of raw material. So let us first write raw material utilization per unit. So how much raw material is used to produce 1 unit of X? We are given this information basically. 0.7 kilogram, 0.4 kilogram and 1.5 kilogram. Had we been having labor as the key factor, then we will be writing labor hour utilization 1, 2 and 1.5. So we have to write the utilization of key factor. So contribution per kilogram of raw material, that is contribution upon raw material. So raw contribution is 7.8, but raw material utilization is just 0.7. It means 11.14 per kilogram is your contribution here. 5.6 upon 0.4, so 14 rupees per kilogram. 12.6 upon 1.5 implies 8.4 rupees per kilogram. So every kilogram of raw material that you are using to produce X will fetch you 11 rupees of contribution. Y will give you 14 rupees of contribution. Z will give you 8.4 rupees of contribution. So which one is giving you maximum contribution will be ranked first. So you will be having Y as the first option because Y is giving you maximum contribution in terms of raw material utilization. Next possible option is B, that is X, and next one is Z. So our ranking is Y, then X, then Z. This is how we should go for production as per contribution rate. So now we'll calculate optimal product mix because our question is requiring us to calculate optimal product mix and profitability. Now in order to develop this table, you see we can always learn the table and its components, but one should know how to develop the table. So you are to develop this table for calculating product mix, that is which product should be used or produced. Then for the production we have a ranking. We should go for Y first, then X first, then Z first. It means we should write our product lines based on their ranking, right? Because this is how you are going to decide. So Y will be on topmost order, then X and then Z. Then we have maximum demand because you cannot go beyond this. You have Y 6,000 units, X 8,000 units and Z 4,000 units. This is the maximum limit because you want to know how much production or sale should be done. But your production or sale cannot exceed maximum limit. So we need to write the maximum limit. And then since this product mix is based on key factor raw material, so raw material availability 10,400 kilogram will also be noted. So these are 4 main columns that we need to record in this table. They will guide us about the product mix. They are guiding factor because these are the product lines, this is the maximum demand and this is the raw material or key factor availability. Now this is going to guide us how to make the decision for production. So now we will write actual or budgeted production. So how much production should we go for? Now we are not only to go for production, but we are to utilize this raw material wisely. So our next column will be that how are we going to use raw material use per unit and overall raw material utilization. Then how much material is used for this X and Z. So we know that raw material utilization for Y is 0.4 kilogram. This is 0.7 kilogram and this is 1.5 kilogram. Now when we are making this table, we have to be extra cautious, because usually when we fill in the information, habitually we pick up the information in the given order and we record it. 8, 6 and 4 will record it, right? We have this habit of just recording the amount from the table as it is. But remember, this is a product mix table which is based on ranking. It means you are not writing products in the given order. You are not writing it X, Y, Z, A, B, C. You are writing it as per their ranking. So the amount must be recorded very carefully. Whichever information you feed in, it must relate to the product line. So don't write it directly from the table as it is. Consider the product line and then write it. Now fill in the values. Let us go for Y. Now how much production should we go for here? We can go for a maximum of 6,000 units. Now what happens if we go for maximum? If you produce Y to the maximum limit, then at the rate of 0.4 kilogram to produce 1 unit, you will be needing 2400 kilogram of raw material. So can you go for that? Obviously yes, because your raw material availability is huge right now. Okay, so you can go for maximum. You can go for maximum here depending upon key factor. So you go for 6,000 units, which will imply your raw material use will be 6,000 units at the rate of 0.4. It will be 2400 kilogram. Now things are going to move. So you used 2400 kilogram of raw material for Y. So when it comes for X, how much raw material is available? Out of this, 2400 kilogram is used. So you are left with 8,000 kilograms. Now can you go for full production here? Since it is using raw material at the rate of 0.7 kilogram per unit, so maximum you will be needing 5600 kilograms. So you have that much raw material, you have enough of that. So you can go for 8,000 units, that is maximum demand here also. That will only be needing 5600 kilogram of raw material. So out of 8,000, you will use 5600 kilogram of raw material here. So when it comes to Z, you are left with 2400 kilograms of raw material. Now can you go for maximum production? If you go for maximum 4,000, then at the rate of 1.5, because this is your raw material utilization, you need 6,000 kilogram. You don't have that. You have only 2400 kilogram. So you can use it only up to this. So now you will solve units. So at the rate of 1.5 kilogram per unit, how many units will be manufactured? It will be 1600 units, because actual production into raw material use will give you total utilization. So it is that when we are writing this table, we can either fill in the utilization or we can fill in the actual production. Since initial stages involve a lot of raw material availability, because as you start using it, then amount is declining. So initially you can go for maximum production. But as you move ahead, you may not be available, having full material available, so you will be using only available raw material. So in the last stage, we are usually filling in the material first and then we will be calculating the units. However, we should make this calculation or check at each stage. So it is not always that it is for last ranking product only that we will be having lesser production. If we have a lot of limitations in the key factor, then it may happen that our key factor is utilized up to second only and we may not be having anything left for third. So material or the key factor may finish at any stage. So at every stage, while writing budgeted or actual production, you should think of whether we can go for total or not. If you think that total is available, go for the total production, right? Otherwise limit it. So our optimal product mix is now written as, we can directly make calculation of profit also. So our product line and production or product mix is, now we can write it in the order X, Y and Z. For X it is going to be 8,000 units, for Y it is going to be 6,000 units, okay, and for Z it is going to be 1600 units. This is your actual product mix, 6, 8 and 1600. But again, this table is devised on the basis of ranking, whereas everywhere else we have the order X, Y, Z, ABC. So when you are putting information from this table, again consider we are writing X 8,000, then Y 6,000, then Z 1600. So once we sort out the things, now we can take up the contribution as it is. So for X, contribution is 7.8, for this it is 5.6, and for Z it is 12.6. So total is going to be, you can solve it, total contribution is going to be now 62,400, 33,600, 20,160. So it gives you 1,16,160. This is your total contribution. Deduct fixed cost from there, 50,000. So you are left with 56,160. 66,160 as your profit. So we have decided optimal product mix and profit based on the key factor. Now let us move ahead with the managerial decision making. So what your question further requires is, assume in the above situation, above means just before this. So in this situation, if additional raw material can be procured 4,500 kilogram, should firm go for additional production if it results in additional fixed cost and increase in the labor and variable overheads? So now you have to decide that if you have additional raw material available, okay, how much? 4,500 kilograms. Should we go for additional production? Now when we are deciding for additional production, we will have to zero in on which product line will be taken here and how many units will be produced. Once it is decided, then we will go for calculation of profit or loss, because in businesses we make decisions regarding production or sale based on profit. So if with the additional production we are getting profit, then we will go for additional production, else we won't go for production. So first of all, let us zero in on the product line. Now when you look at X, Y and Z, X, you have fully saturated the market. It had a maximum demand of 8,000, you used it fully. Y is also fully satisfied. It is only in the Z that we are having some scope. So if the raw material is available, we can go for production of Z. So we can go for production of Z by how many units? Maximum demand is 4,000 units. You are already producing 1,600 units. That means you can go for maximum 2,400 units. Okay. Now with the 4,500 kilogram of raw material available, how many units can we produce? Since raw material was being used at the rate of 1.5 kilogram. So maximum output with additional raw material will be 3,000 units. But your demand is only 2,400 units. So firm can produce only 2,400 units in addition. You cannot go with 3,000. You won't buy 4,500 kilogram of raw material, because with this you can produce 3,000 units which you won't be able to absorb in the market. You can absorb only 2,400 units, so you will produce only 2,400 units in addition with raw material of 2,400 into 1.5 kilogram per unit, that is 3,600 kilograms. So if required, if it gives you profit, you will produce only 2,400 units and you will buy only 3,600 kilograms of raw material. This is a very interesting question, because normally what happens is that when we buy additional raw material, we use it fully for the production. But it is not always so. In place of utilizing whole of the raw material which is now available, you will have to look at your limit also. Your limit is 4,000 maximum for Z. So you can at the maximum have production of 2400 units. So even if now raw material is available, you won't use it fully. You will only use it for 2400 units with 3600 kilogram of raw material. Now the second part, should we go for this production? Yes, it is possible. But should we go? We'll go for production only when we have the profit. So now we'll be making a table showing calculation of profit. Now how do we calculate profit? Profit is sale minus variable cost, that will give you contribution, minus fixed cost, that will give you profit, isn't it? So one way of making this table is as we have made this table here, contribution based cost sheet. So we'll say units of production are now 2400 units. Okay. Now selling price is 30 rupees. Now take up variable cost component, direct material. So for Z, we are working for Z, sorry. So we'll take 50. Now for Z, what is raw material requirement? Raw material requirement is 12. Let us look at the changed scenario. Changed scenario is that if you go for production, your fixed cost is going to increase, your labor and variable overheads are going to increase by 25%. That means material cost is going to be same. So material cost was 12 rupees, it is going to be 12. Labor cost was 12, but now it is going to increase by 25%. So 12 plus its 25%. Now its 25% is going to be 3 rupees. 25% of this 12 rupees. So you can solve it also. So 12 into 25%, that means 3 rupees. Isn't it? So you will be having 12 plus 3, 15 rupees of labor cost. Similarly, variable overheads were there at 8.4, but now this will also increase by 25%. So 8.4 into 25%. So 8.4 plus 2.1, 10.5. So we are making cost sheet for this additional production. Okay. Then you have selling commission. Okay. It was there 5 rupees, 10 rupees of variable cost. It is going to be same. So this is going to be 42.5. That means your contribution is going to be 7.5. So for additional production, our total contribution will be 2400 units at the rate of 7.5. That gives you 18,000 rupees less fixed cost, that is 20,000. So you have a loss. Alright. So if you go for additional production, you have a loss of 2,000. So what will be your decision? You will write decision, we should not go for additional production. Suppose your fixed cost increase was not 20,000, it was just 15,000. So this additional product, because if this is 15, your profit is going to be 3,000. So then you can say that since it is resulting in profit of 3,000, so yes, we should go for additional production of 2400 units with purchase of 3600 kilogram of raw material. This you still need to write. You won't buy the whole raw material, even if it is available. We don't need it, right? Now the same calculation, this is based on contribution based cost sheet. But now let us make the same calculation based on the additional or variable costing. So what marginal costing or variable costing says that we should go for calculation of only additional cost, additional profit. Now every unit sold is going to give you contribution of how much? We have already made the calculations. So every unit sold, since contribution is 12.6. So every unit sold is going to contribute 12.6 rupees towards our amount. So 30,240 is going to be your contribution. So this is marginal cost. This is marginal profit. Okay. This is your additional contribution. But in order to get that contribution, you will have to incur additional costs also. In labor, you will have to incur 3 rupees cost extra, isn't it? On all these units, you will have to pay 3 rupees extra because labor cost has increased. Variable overheads will be 2.1 rupees extra on these 2400 units. So on variable overheads also, you will have to spend 5,040. On fixed cost, you will have to spend 20,000 rupees. That means on the whole, when you go for additional production, your additional contribution is this much, but your additional cost is going to be 32,240. So net situation is you have a loss of 2,000. So don't go for additional production. This is your decision. Okay. So this calculation can be done in two ways. So my aim was to explain you managerial decision making. When we make decisions for management, our calculation is based on our own understanding of the problem. So one person may say that since this is the additional production, so let us prepare cost sheet for this. So this is absorption based cost sheet. You have calculated selling price, total variable cost, calculated contribution, and then you deducted fixed cost to find out the profit or loss. Another person may say, why to go for all the calculation again? We know that selling price is going to be there. We know how much contribution each unit is giving us. So why not make calculation on the basis of only additions, changes? So additional contribution received is going to be 12.6 into 2400. But this will cost you more. So additional cost is labor cost, variable cost. So we are just going with the additions or the changes only. Both these sheets will give you same result. Okay. So that is the beauty of managerial costing, that we can make statements based on our own understanding of the problem and what we think fit. But the end result is going to be same. So decision is going to be same in both these cases. Now let us take up the last issue involved here. Last is, assume in the above question with no shortage of material. Right. So where are we landing now? No shortage of material means that you are here. And you can leave aside this. You don't have this. That means we don't need optimal product mix. Okay, because optimal product mix is calculated when we have shortage of something, when we have some key factor. So when there is no limitation, it means you can go for maximum demand. So you are here, X you will be producing up to this much, Y here, Z 4,000, because there is no limitation now. Now it is possible to increase sale of any product by 25% by increasing additional spending of 12,000 on advertisement. So what it says is that you can go for additional sale. In fact, you can now improve on this demand by 25%, but not all, any product. It says any product. So it is not X and Y and Z. It is X or Y or Z. So if you go for X, 25% of that will be 2,000 units. For Y, 1,500 units. For Z, 1,000 units. Because in each case, our increase in demand achieved is 25%. So they are asking us, should we go for this if it costs us 12,000 on advertisement? So with additional production and sale, you will receive additional money. Additional contribution will be received, but this will be subject to additional cost. There is no change in any other cost, no material cost, no variable labor or any other overheads. It's just that advertisement spendings are going to be higher. So only one change is in the cost, and the change in the income will be your contribution is going to improve. Now normally we say that the product which is giving us higher contribution is more profitable, isn't it? So when you look at contribution, one may say that let us see contribution. Z is giving us maximum contribution, let us produce Z. No, because these three product lines are not at equal standing. When you increase production or sale by 1,000 units, then all are same. You increase 1,000 here or 1,000 here or 1,000 here, you can obviously go for Z. But when it says 25% of original demand, then all are not same, because herein you will be getting this contribution on 2,000 units. Here you will get contribution on 1,500 units, but for Z you will get contribution only on 1,000 units. So this increased contribution per unit is going to be compensated or adjusted by reduced activity. You can go for this, but your activity here will be 1,000 units only. So we should not look at contribution per unit. Contribution per unit is looked at for decision making when all products are at equal standing, which is not the case here. Because when you increase your production and sale limit, each one of these is going to be having different activity. So they are not equal. So we'll look for additional contribution. Okay, so calculation of additional profit. You can name your statement according to your understanding of the problem, or you can do one thing, just leave the name right now and make the calculation. Then what you think fit, accordingly you can name it. That is the advantage of managerial costing. You don't need to remember the formats, preset formats. You don't need to remember that this is the table 1 is going to be this and 2 is. When you go for managerial decision making, everything depends on your understanding. Okay, now product line X or Y or Z. I am writing or because you should not be confused that all are there. It will be either or question. So additional production, 2000 units, 1500 units and 1000 units. Why? Because it is 25%. So 25% of 8000, 6000, 4000, you can specify this here also. Okay, so contribution per unit is that we have calculated 7.8, all right, 5.6 and 12.6. It means our additional contribution is going to be 15,600, then it is 8,400 and it is here 12,600. Now additional cost is going to be 12,000. Okay, so should we spread it on all? Because you have 3 product lines. So 12,000 cost means 4,000, 4,000, 4,000. No, because it is not all. If you go for production of X, it will have to bear the total cost. Or you may go for Y. If you go for Y, you will have to bear the cost here. Or if you go here for Z, it will be bearing the cost. So what is our additional profit or loss earned? Okay, so what happens is X will give you profit, this is going to give you loss, so no way you can go for Y, and Z is giving you 600 of profit. So we make the decision which suits us best. So in the given scenario, since X is giving maximum profit, so firm should go for increasing production and sale of X by 2000 units. You can elaborate your answer in any manner. This will give us profit of 3600. Okay, you can add that. Now this is your decision or suggestion. As the demand is there for the question, you will be recording it. Your question says suggest best plan. So this is your suggestion. If your question says decide, then this is your decision. Okay, so this is how we make managerial decisions based on optimal product mix and further cost sheet. Okay, so you can practice these questions. Now this completes a majority of our problems, that is under PV analysis. So we have done the analysis. Then we also solved simple problems involving calculation of selling price, calculation of profit, calculation of output at a given activity or profit level, then calculation of the missing amounts, and finally, the most important application of PV analysis is this optimal product mix and further decision making. So you can practice any number of questions after this. Wherever you have any doubts, you can connect me through the comments. Alright, so keep practicing, keep learning and smiling. Thank you.